welcome to SoulWhat, a SoulTopia podcast with our producer, Matt Stoker. I am your host, Michelle Welch.
And I'm Roger Welch. So what's up today, Michelle?
Oh my gosh, so many things, but especially our exciting guest who is a fairly new friend, but an amazing friend who just saved us today. We've been wanting to have her on the show for a long time, especially you, because we're going to find out a big reason why, right?
Yep.
She's going to talk about it. But she actually hopped on, and that's why y'all haven't seen a lot of advertising. Well, I apologize for that, Jamie. It's Jamie Sawyer. And but it's because I just said, please, could you come on today? And there's a reason for it, because I rarely just do that and just with a guest, right?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it. And Jamie comes to us really is a tattoo artist, is one of the reasons Roger is just like so stoked, because he's always wanted to have a tattoo artist on SoulWhat, first of all. And she was, and we'll get her to explain it, but she's been a tattoo artist for a really long time, I believe like 18 years. And she also ties in her tarot and divination. She makes Lenormand cards. We're going to get some of her tarot decks and Lenormand decks. She does these really cool tiles that she's going to show us. They're tarot tiles and Lenormand tiles. She does a little bit of everything, and she's working on a new tarot deck now. And I'm going to let you guys just meet her. This is Jamie Sawyer, you guys, and also she has a great Etsy shop and store that she's going to tell us about. Hi, Jamie. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, if I can get my words out. Thanks for coming on. I am so glad you're here. How long were you? I mean, you are still a tattoo artist. I mean, it's like when people ask me, how long were you a lawyer? I'm still a lawyer, but how long did you practice?
For 18 years. I celebrated 18 years in February, and I had my own little private studio for the last 3 years. And then when the pandemic hit, I was already only working 4 days a week. So I had kind of decided to just see where it was going. So right now I say I'm semi-retired because I'm not sharing any close space with anybody. I've been taking this very seriously. I did close my actual studio, but one day, I'm the person that does it. So it doesn't really matter where I'm at. When I decide to pick up my machines and tattoo the general public again, then I'll just enter back in the scene. But yeah, it's 18 years. I joke that it's old enough to move out and get its own job. So.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Well, it ties in really nicely with what you do, but I know Roger probably has some more questions about the tattoo part of it before we go into the tarot.
I always thought it'd be cool, because of the spiritual aspect of the tattooing versus just how here's a stick figure of a cross or whatever, kind of the more the spiritual side of things of how that works.
Are you saying that's not spiritual?
Well, Jamie, it probably doesn't take a lot to just do 2 lines.
We have a story about that, just because my tough football playing son has that did play all through school and everything. He has a little bitty cross. It's about that big. He's a banker too, and he held Roger, his stepdad's hand through the whole thing. And my older son, who's a maniac, but he has so many tattoos, but would never have played football. He was theater all the way, never would have touched theater. He's got all his he's all kinds of tattoos. I don't know how many he has now. And he just was thinking, I won't say the word that he called, don't say it, that he called Trevor through the whole thing. But anyway, Trevor got this little teeny.
You can cover it with a 50-cent piece.
Yes.
So he was always talking about all the tribal, the spiritualism to the tattoos.
There's it's funny because this past year too, with the world of, just cultural appropriation versus appreciation, and I was kind of doing some own deep dives of my own self, and I'm tattoo industry is one of the biggest appropriative industries when it comes to other cultures' art, because if somebody comes up and says, oh, I never really do Japanese stuff, I don't understand it, I love it, but there's there's so much culture that goes into those pieces, and I wouldn't want to falsely represent that, like a koi fish is supposed to be swimming upstream instead of so the body placement. So for me, if I didn't know that much about like the imagery to put on somebody, I didn't feel comfortable doing it. But to bridge it into an actual spiritual thing, it dawned on me probably within the past 10 years of how much the sharing space, like I always called when a client came into my studio, my tattoo studio's name is Sacred Space Tattoo. And when they would come into my studio, I realized it was less about the imagery that they were getting and more about the shared space with me. I became like, how I say, I don't read the cards, but I can read the person as far as like the imagery that they get and, that physical energy work of just laying hands and bringing this vision that they had to life into their skin. So when they leave, it's like the imagery was proof that they were there. And every time they look, they can look at that like momentous occasion or healing or whatever it was that they were getting from the session. But I realized that like, it doesn't matter what the tattoo is, whether I personally like the image or whether it's something I would wear or whatever, but if it meant something to that person, then it was a spiritual transition because it's almost like a modern day bloodletting, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you're transforming somebody at that moment.
right, yeah. Sorry, our store's still open and the phones, man, they have been ringing. Our store, it's been crazy, Jamie. You'd think things would slow down around here. We close at 7. It's 7:43, and it just never stops, does it?
There's somebody called the other night at like 10:30, and you called that lady, it rolls to my cell phone, and I'm like, yeah, we closed at 7 o'clock tonight. Oh, you're not open now? No.
But I want to read her now. We know
they want to
that.
come in and shop.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I'm not complaining. We are not complaining at all. So, what did you think? I'll put you on the spot here. You don't have to answer, but you said, hey, you're an open book. There were 2 decks that came out that were tattoo decks. One was the Bonefire,
Yeah,
right?
Bonefire
And then the eight of coins. Did you like those decks?
I actually don't own either of them.
Okay.
Because I'm not necessarily too keen on the artwork. I know that sounds really horrible.
No, it doesn't. It's honest.
But it's, for me, like, I don't know how to, I know how to answer the question. I've seen it and I love I've seen more of the 8 of coins than I have of the Bonefire deck. And from what I've seen, it's very, tattoo flash oriented and stuff. And I think to people who don't live in that culture, it's very awesome. But for me, I'm like, I saw that hanging on the wall for, 18 years or whatever. So, I mean, I remember when I had tried to bring my deck to mass market publishing and I was kind of rejected. And they said they didn't have room in their catalog for another tattoo themed deck. And I was like, well, my deck's not really tattoo themed other than the fact that I'm a tattoo artist and I drew it, but that's okay. I took it as a message from the divine that I was meant to maintain all the rights to my artwork,
Right.
So,
well, that's probably, there's probably good reasons for that, as we now know, right? A lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, and a lot is going on with art and all the stuff going on with tarot anyway. So, and decks, right? Yeah. But which one of those was? I love reading about stuff I don't know a lot about, like to, to learn. One of them was really good. I remember talking about the symbolism behind some of the tattoos, like the spider and the fact that it meant something when you were put in jail. And do you remember that? Yeah, it was one of them.
I think
it was 8 of coins.
I think it's 8 of coins.
I can't remember, but that's about as much. I mean, I do have one tattoo, and I woke up after I got it. It was 4 in the morning. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I called my son, the one that lived in L.A. and then San Francisco, and I said, "How do I get it off?" And he said, "Mom, go back to sleep. It's on the back of your neck. You're never even going to remember you have it."
And she doesn't. She forgets a lot of times.
I forget I have it. It's like it was supposed to be some words, and it turned into sort of this praying angel, fairy, abstract, maybe kind of a praying mantis kind of something. I don't know what it is, but it's back there. So anyway, well, tell us a little bit about what you're doing since you're taking a break from your tattoo work. What are you? I know that you love art and you love to create. So what are you doing now?
Well, it's kind of fortuitous. So my husband and I started a home business. I mean, I've always had my Etsy shop. I've had my Etsy shop since 2008, but I've never really put like a lot of work in. And it was just kind of like whatever extracurricular craft type thing I was doing, that would be what would, I put it in my Etsy shop. But my husband decided to quit trucking last year. He was a owner operator and just decided he didn't want to do that anymore. And he was kind of going through this realization thing. And I said, you just got to be open to the possibility that what you're going to be doing is going to be something way different than you ever thought you would be doing. And I was making those tarot tiles that you had mentioned before. And I said, I would love to be able to offer these on a broader scale, but I can't do it and work at the same time. So I taught him how. And so then he started helping me make them. And so we were able to actually put them out there to make orders. So we kind of started this last year, and then we bought an industrial laser. We were just using, we had bought like a hobbyist one, and then we upgraded to one that can hold a higher capacity to do some of the work for us when it comes to like the tile backs. I was hand burning each one in the very beginning. So the earlier sets, like those, I guess, would be like collector's items.
Yeah, I'm sure. Show us. Can you show us some of the tiles? And we will post the Etsy link. Everybody will have that. I think it already is posted, but.
So basically I like miniaturizing the stuff that I make. And so I had wanted to take my actual tarot deck, which is, big. Nine of Swords is not the fun card to use. Anyway, we'll do the full real quick. So I would use, like this, but then I wanted it to be
oh, cute.
Nice.
So that, but at the same time, I was also learning the astrological correspondences to each. So I hand burned. This is the first set made, so they're a little bit more, like this.
Right.
So I wanted to know, okay, Mercury, the Magician. So for me, it was a way to kind of use them as little mini flashcards. Okay, I could see the Four of Wands. I've got Venus in Aries.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Nice.
On your, is that on the back of all of them? The
That's only on the ones that so with my Sawyer's Path tarot tiles, I offer them in two ways. I offer them with the astrological correspondences for those who actually want them, and then I offer them with just the stars on the back, which is similar to the back of the cards. But for the other tiles, I have a couple different collaborations. I have Benabel, her spirit keeper, Vitruvian. We've done that. So I did one of the symbols from her deck on the back of those.
Right.
So each tile set has something that's very unique to the deck that it is representing. And then I made my Lenormand deck. I have those in tile form. So the backs of those have a very simplified version of the back of the card.
Oh, cool. Oh, I love those. Well, that's why they're hard to choose. That I've driven her crazy because and she'll be asleep. She'll be like, "Well, I'm going to sleep now." But I can't decide which one I want to order because I keep. And then I was like, at one point, I was like, "Okay, I'm just going to order all of them," and he would have killed me. And so of the tiles, so I want them all. And so yeah, it's hard to decide. So for everybody watching, it's going to be hard for you to decide because I know people are going to want to order those. And
they're fun.
They're cool.
I like them. The whole point of me making them, it was when I'm not tattooing, I still have a very busy brain. So I like to, create, right? So I started making. I love resin, and I love making weird resin things. I have this thing on my desk here that's got it's a little pyramid. It's got a bunch of.
Cool.
It's just something. It's got crystals and stuff in it. But I was oh, what can I play with resin? So then I was oh, I can make miniaturized tiles. And so that was kind of the birth of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool because nobody.
Then it just evolved. Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody else doing it. So we're getting her decks in the store. You know that. And
I
so,
do now.
yeah, well, Roger, well, he's been pretty busy
Yeah.
with everything at the store going on. So, can you show us a couple of the decks that we're going to be getting in the store?
Yeah, definitely. So I just re-released a Sawyer's Path Tarot. For a while. I had actually only got originally like, was it 500 copies done, and once I sold out of those, I just let them go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got another 250 recently, and because I had them on print on demand for a while, and then I was just like, you know what, maybe I'll bring it, because I want to be able to offer, with the release of my portal deck, I want to be able to offer all three.
Right.
Mhm.
So I have my tarot deck, which is, like, here's the Hermit. So I mean, it's similar
Love it.
style to how I would draw it as a tattoo. Like, the Devil card is definitely similar to a tattoo that I would draw.
Oh,
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
You
Like it.
know,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's full color. It's my life is very colorful, so it's very.
Yeah, I like your
very,
headphones, by the way. The headphones are
Thank you.
on point.
I have to. These are. I'm gonna total side tangent, because that's just how my brain works. I've had these for a few years, and the ear pads started to just disintegrate, and they're Beats, right? So I'm going, how could these expensive earphones, like the ear pads, just?
Yeah.
Did you know you can buy replacements? So they got like galaxies. I'm so excited about it.
That's good. I never had Beats. My kids had all that stuff.
Yeah.
How do they always
I
get
love
all the
them.
expensive stuff? I don't know. My kids landed with all that good stuff. So, yeah, you're going to show that one too.
Yeah. So this is my Sawyer's Lenormand. So it's either brilliant marketing or laziness, because they're all Sawyer's something or other, and I'm gonna go with laziness because I just didn't have anything clever to name them.
I'd go
So
with
this is
brilliant
my
marketing. Yeah.
So this is my Lenormand deck, which is actually, let me grab the one that you're getting. This is the first edition. So the first edition, just the backs are changed from the ones that I had reprinted. And the same thing with that, where it was, I had let them run out and had them print on demand, and then I took them all back. But so these are, the backs is the same. Get them out here. So the backs are slightly different. So they got like little moon phases around it.
I like
Yeah.
that.
But like,
Yeah, with the tree. Yeah.
I drew this particular deck because my mom and I had learned Lenormand together, and she's very like, when it comes to the cards, she always wants to, especially with Lenormand, she wants to look at everything else in the picture. And I'm like, Mom, it's not, it's just fish, So I drew them very simple to be like it's a scythe, it's the moon, like very, there's a couple alternate, there's 2 lady and 2 gentlemen. The lady and the gentleman and the child card in this deck are deer, because those are my animals.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Coffin card is.
Oh, yeah, I like that. So would that be like a tattoo?
It's very similar to tattoo. This is actually more tattoo drawn than my actual tarot deck.
I love that deck.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that deck. Yeah, it's going to be good.
And then my other deck is, I don't have the box next to me. I have a bag that my friend made, but it's the Sawyer's Nature's Portals, or Sawyer's Nature Portals. And so to me, they're like, it's just a round deck.
Yeah.
It's got like, and the whole premise is a glimpse in time, like as if you're peering through a portal to a moment in that animal's life without human interference. Like, what might you learn from just watching the animal?
You're so creative with your angles that you come up with for your decks. Instead of just it being a deck. Yeah. The one you're doing now, I'm really excited about. So tell us about.
So excited about this.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And we'll show some. These are the pictures I sent you, Matt. And will Jamie be able to see the ones you're? So Jamie, you'll be able to see the ones. So you can start talking about them at the deck as we show these.
So the project started probably. Actually, it's funny that you show V first, because she's probably the catalyst for it. Was I was drawing a card for her, and it was kind of like, when somebody, as a professional tarot reader that she is, people would be like, oh, can you pull me a card? So I did this like snarky card for her that was basically like, get read, and it's like almost a business card, and it's just her pointing to a thing that says, book a BFF.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
and it made me chuckle, it made me laugh, and it made me start thinking about how cool it would be to have a pocket deck, like a deck, right? Like of people who I know, or people who I'm aware of, and maybe I haven't met in person, but I still gained something from those moments, whether it was a lifetime or a brief, single serving friend, right?
Right.
So what advice might they have, and how might they harness the archetype of that energy of the card? So yes, so Justice is Benabel Wen, and she embodies that. She's a lawyer like you, Michelle, and she's also a Libra. And to me, like, knowing everything that she's done for the tarot community, I mean, I don't even know if I can paraphrase what you wrote yesterday on Facebook about that, but it was on point.
Well, and it wasn't like suck up. It was like, she just is. She's the perfect.
No,
she's
she
that
is.
perfect. She thinks, to me, she is the Justice card. I mean, for what she's been in my life, at least. So, and what I've seen her be in other people's lives. Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, it was just kind of like, how could we, and then I named it Pocket of Peers, because I joked about last year at Omega, the Masters of the Tarot workshop that I attended. There's this one guy who attends there. He's actually going to be the sun card in the deck. His name is Samaj, and he's just this ray of light. Like, you cannot be around him and be sad. Like, there's just so much love and energy that pours from this human, right? And so me and my friend Jenna all weekend, we were like, we need a pocket Samaj. We need to just take you and put you in our pocket for whatever, So it was kind of like looking at that, and I'm going, but I have a whole bunch of these people now. So that's where the Pocket of Peers came from.
That's cool.
But I haven't been this excited about something in a really long time.
That's really good. It seems like, and Roger, you can jump in if you want.
No, go ahead.
I was just sitting while you're talking, and you're so excited about your art and the ways you can use your art and the tattoo, even though you're not getting to do that right now, and different avenues to use your art, and you have such a creative mind. I wondered kind of what suggestions you might have to people that are, in the divination community but they're also artists. I mean, and I don't know, it may just whatever comes to mind. What might you tell them? It's not necessarily how to do a deck, but just how to tap into that creativity if they feel almost. I get some people I read for sometimes that just feel stifled in that a little bit.
I think with that question, and just kind of in general, like people who are creative, or who even may have creative visions but don't feel that they are creative in a sense, I always say just do it anyway. Like whatever it is that sets your soul on fire, just do it. Like if it's creating napkin sculptures, do that, have fun with it. Like I think sometimes with divination, people put so much weight on it, as far as like every little thing needs to mean something, when it doesn't necessarily mean that. It might just mean you need to play right now, like bust out some markers and scribble and color outside the lines, and stop taking yourself so seriously. If you feel called to do a deck, do it, or just start drawing with no intention of creating a deck. That's how Sawyer's Path Tarot came along. I did a 2 of Cups tattoo for somebody, and then I was like, oh, I think I want to draw the Queen of Swords as in my style, how I would draw it, And then I was like, crap, I think I just started drawing a deck, and I was so unaware of where that journey was going to take me. So it's just kind of like, keep an open mind, because it's going to find you no matter what. I don't know if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. Because I think some people, art teachers for one, discourage. I'm not attacking all teachers. It didn't happen to me. It happened to my son, actually. They discourage. He kind of scared me, because it's the same one that got the little nickel-sized cross tattoo. But he literally cut her name out of, like with an X-Acto knife, I think, out of the school directory when he was little. I was like, uh-oh, what do we got going here? Now, he turned out great. But he's very, very stable. But she told him He loved art. And she was like, oh, you're just not, there was one good person at art in the class, and that was only one who got attention. And I think a lot of us do that. We kind of stifle all of our creativity. We're talking to Will today about that too, right?
Yeah. It's definitely, there's, I listen to a lot of different teachers and advisors and spiritual people in the community. And I'm always brought back to Brene Brown's when she talks about art scars. And you can always trace back to that one event in your life of whether it was a teacher or a parent or some elder, because when you're younger, to quote the movie The Crow, like, our elders are the voice of God, right? Like, so if they say that we're not good at art, then we better believe them. And it's just utter BS. And how beautiful that your son, it might have been weird at the time, but what he was doing was magic. He was removing that energy. He was cutting it out. He was literally cutting away.
He did. He really did. You're right. Yeah, he definitely did. And he's very good at manifesting what he wants and removing what he doesn't want. He does not look back, His mom looks back. I look back, but he doesn't. He just cuts it out and moves on. He's very, very
Done
good
with
at that. Yeah, I need more of that, right? So do we want to go to, or do you have some questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I was seeing if anybody had any questions over here.
Oh, yeah. You want to scroll down and see?
Nobody had anything. Just everybody's saying hi.
Everybody's saying hi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, you'll have a lot of new friends now. Yeah, say hi to Jamie, you guys. She's awesome. I was thinking that, what originally, I was on this, like I said, I was on this radio program today, and they asked me what originally brought me into this whole world. And my question was, I always get it, well, why'd you leave law to do this? And they kind of almost condemn you for it. And I'm like, that's a great thing. Trust me. A lot of people want to leave law, but, and I'm still practicing law if I want to, but I'm not practicing, but I can, but what brought you into this whole circle of tarot and divination?
I would have to say, like, my mother is she's my biggest like hero, mentor. She's my best friend. She's my mother. She's my child. She's just my sister. She's everything. Right. And so let's see. She knows that I'm allowed to talk. I'm allowed to blow up her anonymity. She got sober in 1995. And so when she's like this beacon of inspiration, but she never like forced religion or anything on us. It was always one of those, well, if you guys want to learn about something, then I'll do it. 'Cause she was, brought up Catholic and very much like she calls herself a recovering Catholic. And so she, just through her and like watching her live her life and the books that she would read and the teachings, and we all used to always joke that she was a witch, but we were never like, I say I'm a bad witch because I don't really practice. I like the idea of rituals and I like the idea of doing things, but I don't usually do them.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And we've always like done those kind of things together. But I think in 2000, it was like the biggest pinnacle. That was when like her and I had gone, it was 5 years after, being sober, and we had gone to Salem together. She lives like an hour and a half north of there in Maine. And she's, we bought our books of shadows and we consecrated them together. And we did all those, those little like ritualistic acts. And I think that was when I had gotten my first deck, but it was an oracle deck. It was the Brian Froud Oracle, the fairies. Yeah. And so the cards and the divination have always kind of intertwined in my life. I had written in my book of shadows a spell about becoming a tattoo artist. And then my life took that turn where I was cultivating this career, my apprenticeship and all this. And fast forward 14 years later, I find my book of shadows and I was like, holy crap, I manifested this. Or did I? It was like I set the intention. So I would say it's always been a part of me, but sometimes I focus on it. Sometimes it has to take the back wheel. But it wasn't until probably the past like 5 or 6 years that it just really has taken a hold of me. And it's literally all I can think about. Yeah. And I have the big conversations, and I had like, it's become like a whole way of life. I don't know if that's there's no right or wrong answer to the question. It's just
No.
kind of like it found me when I needed it. And
Yeah.
I was, there's times when I look and I see my peers who I look at and I'm like, man, they've been doing this for like 40 years or 20 years. And, especially like to some who are my age and they've been doing it for 20 years and I'm jealous of it. And I go, well, I was doing what I meant to do. I was living the life experiences. I was doing
Absolutely.
like all those things in order to be able to even give advice, or not even give advice, but just share these stories. And I wouldn't have done that if I was so busy deep into what I was doing. Cause like literally I'm a hermit right now. I haven't driven in like 3 months. I don't need to. My husband drives us everywhere.
Yeah. I've got that too. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think so many people, it's one of the things, not to say I don't think experience is important, I do, but it's not one of those things that when somebody says on a bio or something, I have 50 years experience and a 45 years experience, that is not going to be my determining or soul determining factor, especially when I'm looking. I told somebody that today that I was interviewing for a reader position. She's fairly new, but she was so grounded, which I need. It was just good talking to her because she was grounding me.
Yeah.
But she was so mature in her reading and things like that. But she was fairly new, and I said it's not the only thing, because people, I also know some 40-year readers who are completely burned out too, just like out of everything. So, it's a lot of variables that go into it. I mean, divine timing. I know that's a cliche phrase, but it's true, I think. So are we ready now to read for a couple people? Do they want to? One thing that we have a couple of people that we'll read for, and you guys, Jamie has agreed to read with us. And that's very nice of her, because we did put her on the spot. I want y'all to know that's very nice of her to do that. A lot of, we didn't give her very much advance notice on that. But we're just going to pull one card. We're going to go really fast, so kind of lightning round like we typically do. And then on the very last one, we will have you guys choose whichever number you want, and that will be, for those of you who don't get readings, that will be your reading for the week. So let's just do like 3 and then you want to? Mm-hmm. Okay. I am going to be reading tonight and we don't have any of Jamie's decks in tonight, or I'd be reading with her decks, but I'm going to be reading with the Melanated Classic Tarot, and it's inspired by Rider-Waite-Smith, and it's by Julia Goolsby and Obria Tronshaw, and I'm not sure if I pronounced the name right, but this is it. And Roger, you're going to be reading with?
The Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. So.
Okay. And Jamie, you're going to be reading with?
I got to get that back.
Yeah.
The Sawyer's Tarot.
Perfect. All right. There she goes.
Cool.
Yes, which we will have in our store soon. Coming soon to SoulTopia near you. Okay, so who's the first one?
Tomas.
Okay, and so I'm assuming unless you tell us there's no specific question and they just want whatever.
That's correct.
Whatever we have to tell them from a 1-card pull.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we'll all set whatever intention we set as readers. We're not going to take a lot of time to tell you guys and go through that, but we will say. For each person, we are setting our intentions now as we're shuffling the cards. For me, it'll be for your highest and best good. And I'll go first on this one. I'll read for Tomas first. Okay, so Tomas, I got the Knight of Cups. I'm going to keep it brief. I'm going to keep it, and this is the Knight of Cups for you. And this is you in this reading. And this is to tell you, Tomas, to be right now your own Knight of Cups. Be your own shining armor, knight in shining armor. It's no one else that can fill that role for you. It is only yourself right now. You have a lot of people who love you, but you are your knight in shining armor. It's you. It's not anybody else. Okay? All right, Roger.
So I got the 4 Pentacles. 4 Pentacles there, and traditionally people talk about this one being kind of like the frugal one, kind of hanging on to your money, stuff like that. But actually, the message I got coming across is actually kind of the opposite of that. It's the enjoy yourself. Don't be just sitting back holding on to everything, and kind of let go of a little bit, and let it flow and see what happens.
Okay. Jamie?
I got the Hermit for you. And so the Hermit to me is telling you that it's okay to take some time to yourself. It's okay to withdraw. Right now, you don't need to be out there in the spotlight and doing everything that everybody's expecting of you. There's so much to be found when you can just unplug, step back, and just kind of just be, because whatever's been sitting with you, it's going to be there later. You can deal with it later, but right now just kind of go within so that you're ready to go out later.
Yeah. Chills on that one. So, yeah. Who's next?
Next is Ashley.
Ashley. Okay. I'm just going to say that I like how these cards shuffle. They shuffle really well for me. They're just like easy for me to shuffle. Just saying.
I've used these so much.
The melanated classic. Different. I don't know. They're just.
I've used these so much they got increased.
Like I drew 2 cards, so I'm intending which one I'm supposed to get, because I always do that and I get in trouble by Roger. Do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Jamie, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go for it.
Knight of Pentacles. So this is telling me that the Knight of Pentacles for you is just, you're on top of it. Like, there's really not much that you don't do that's not going to turn to gold. You know, like everything that you've put your mind to, you've been able to manifest. You've got a clear head, you're grounded, you know, just keep with that and trust your instincts on things.
Yeah. And so it's a colorful Lover's card. I mean, I love it. And I literally do get, I mean, look at all, this is really pretty card. I get for you on this card, it's interesting, I'm looking over at Roger's, and I'm just going to, this is what I'm going to say. I tag on to Jamie that you're on top of it, but I'm also going to say, I'm going to be blunt, and this is all I'm going to say. I do think that you're in a time of making some decisions, and that's all I'm going to say right now. I just think carefully about the decisions you're making and how you're proceeding forward. Yeah.
So, Ash, the reason she said that is because I got the Devil card, and if you actually notice, it's kind of the same card, except it's the dark side of things. So
Not the same card.
It's kind of the same card. Got a couple of naked people on it.
They all have naked people.
Got 2 naked people with somebody over the top.
Oh, God.
Got a couple of naked ones on there.
Okay, read.
Couple of naked ones.
Read.
So, kind of with what Michelle's talking about, but also keep in mind the shadow side of things, the things that are kind of unseen, things like the dark side of things, things that people aren't always seeing. Let's go with that.
We'll
And
read for you
focus.
later, Ashley. Is that the Ashley we know?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll read for
Well,
you
it depends.
later.
I know like 5
We know
Ashleys.
a lot of Ashleys, but that Ashley. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Listen to Jamie's reading, because clearly she knows what she's talking about.
Trust your instinct on those choices. Could be good, could be bad. It doesn't, I guess you'll just have to see.
And she deals with the shadow side just fine, so she'll be fine. Okay. She knows how to work that shadow side. She
Just
knows
not-
how to handle it.
Just
Yeah.
not nakedly.
Oh my gosh, be quiet. Okay, Jamie, this is my I've already had a rough day.
Well, at least you're laughing now.
Who are we reading for?
Leslie.
Okay. Okay. I can't get serious right now. Jamie, can you read?
Yeah, let
Okay.
me.
But it would have been awesome if she pulled one of those other 2 cards.
No, just
Or
Yeah,
the
right.
star card.
No, but I got the 4 of Pentacles, which you already got. So for me, I feel like right now, like, I mean, I know it's for Leslie, but I feel like there's a lot on everybody's mind, especially with what's going on in the world and the stuff. But I feel like it's some time to just kind of meditate on what you have and what you think you know, like our wants that are many and the wants versus the needs, right? So it's okay to buckle down and be like, do I really need this? If you really want it, put it off to the side, think about it for a little bit longer. And if you still want it, maybe think a little bit longer, give it some time, you know, just rest on it. Don't overspend, just allow, you know, we don't know what's coming in the future.
Yeah. I got, and I think that's because, again, tagging onto that, it's Leslie, I'm going to be very straightforward. I do think there will be a surgery. I do think the surgery that and I don't know if a surgery went forward, if a surgery was scheduled. I think there was a surgery scheduled, and the surgery will proceed. Okay, and this card sometimes is a card of surgery, and this is the time that I did get that. Okay, so but I think it will be something that is a good thing and it's needed, and it will be able to proceed. Okay.
I got the Nine of Swords. So I think you got a lot of time on your hands there, Ashley, or Leslie, that you're really kind of thinking, you know, almost to the point of just overthinking some of this and kind of overanalyzing things. So I think you do need to take a little bit of time to yourself, kind of chill, kind of relax, get out of the kind of chaotic life of things, and just, you know, try to get just some you time into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to go back to Ashley and say, Ashley, we do, for anybody who doesn't know, we do know Ashley very well. And we do take her reading seriously. She worked here, and so she knows that we take her very seriously. Okay.
She laughed.
She laughed. Oh,
she
good.
gave
Well,
a laugh.
I don't have the benefit of that being in front of me to know that she laughed. And you know me, I'll worry about it all night. So, okay.
She'll be doing this. She'll be doing this card
all night long.
all night long, and then she'll
All
text
night
you
long.
about 3:00 in the morning.
I'll be like, Jamie, I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's like, I didn't know he was going to say
and
that, Jamie.
And Jamie will be like, damn it, I'm trying to sleep. I told you, don't text me this.
That's my phone's on Do Not Disturb. It's fine.
All right. So here we go. We've got one more, right? We're
Yep.
reading for? No. Yes? No?
Yep.
Oh.
Do one more. It's
Okay,
8
who
to
is it?
18. So Shanna.
Okay. So we're reading for Shanna. Okay. You ready, Jamie? Do you want to go? Do you want to go, Jamie?
I'm like,
Or I can
So
go.
the moon.
Okay. Oh, that's a pretty card, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the moon is, to me, I know there's a lot about this card that sometimes is like strikes at, oh no, but I always remember too that it's Pisces, right? So you also have to dare to dream, but there's going to be some deep soul searching that you need to do before you follow through with those dreams. You got to find out where they're coming from, what is driving you. Is it just imagination or is it reality? Like, do a little bit of reflecting before you take the next step in your life, and just find out if it really resonates with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You go next.
I go next? Okay, well, I got the Three of Swords. So I take that as, you know, there's a lot of things happening right now around you, Shanna. And so it's almost like pulling those swords out one at a time and seeing just how those directions are going, how the outcome for those different paths could lead you and where you could end up.
Yeah, and the reason I wanted Roger to read first, because I cheated and I looked at his card, and I got the three, also a three, the Three of Cups. So when I looked at this Three of Cups for you, I didn't see, I felt immediately that you are not willing to go all the way up into the cheering yet. You want to, but you're not ready, which is how the moon card, I think, I don't want to usurp Jamie's reading, but tagging onto it, you're not ready yet. So you're not fully there yet. You're not fully trusting to go up into that, the people around you, the situations you're in, to go up into that fully. Yay, we're in this together. And so I think that ties in all of us together. And the three, there's something about that 3 number, that maybe feeling odd man out or something like that. So, and I don't think you are. I think that it's learning to trust to go up into that. I've never seen that before in that card, but all the way up into cheering, yeah, like all the way. And being
cool.
part of it, yeah. All right, so we'll do the thing where thanks you guys for letting us read, and we'll do the thing where we go around. So everybody pick, at home, everybody listening, pick a number 1, 2, or 3 right now. Get it in your head, even write it down so you won't be tempted to change it later if you don't like the reading you get, okay? So choose 1, 2, or 3. Matt, you're going to choose 1, 2, or 3 too, right? And we're going to choose 1, 2, or 3. Everybody at home.
We know
and
Michelle
then-
picked 2.
Okay, we all know what number I pick. That's my number. Okay, I know you're going to rig it. Okay, so and then one of us will be 1, 2, or 3 and read for you. We'll all give a reading. So, Matt, tell us who's going to read number 1.
Let's go Roger 1, Jamie 2, you 3.
Okay, so Roger's 1, Jamie's 2, and I'm 3.
Okay, so I'm going first.
Yeah. So if you chose number 1, this is the reading for you.
You're in trouble. No, I'm kidding. So I got the Hermit card. So you know what? It is a great time right now to reflect. Okay, it's take that personal time this week, reflect on life, reflect on those, reflect on the things that are coming in, things that are things that you're just having to deal with that you haven't been dealing with. Let's put it that way. Things that you found have been putting off. But also get those things out of your way so next week when we start the new week, you've dealt with everything and you're ready to start a new, fresh week without, all the baggage.
Okay. All right. So if you chose number 2, like me, Jamie's reading will be for you. All right. So Jamie? Yes.
So you have the Devil,
Yeah.
which is my favorite card, actually.
I love that card.
So the Devil to me and for you for this week is to understand that, this is the ruler of the earthly delights. And so there's a lot to be found here. If you are to just be open to the fact that you can't, things are going to happen and they could be, there's no right or wrong. There's just lessons. So the Devil is here to kind of test us into these lessons, but not in the, dogmatic way, but it's just basically being to me, the Devil is that persona of us that wants to overindulge a little bit, wants to be you know what, I'm stuck in the house for another week. I can have that whole cake. That's fine. But you don't want to set up shop there. You don't want to dance with this person for the rest of your life. You want to just go there and be okay, I learned that lesson and I can move on. So to me, the Devil is one of our greatest teachers if we are willing to just kind of sit there and ride it out.
Yeah. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the rest of you who chose 2, like me. And she didn't even rig it because I like that card too, and I like that message.
I think Jamie should come to Dallas and have her on the show, and I'll have her tattoo me on the show with that card.
That'd be really cool. Oh yeah. So we just have to get rid of all the stuff in the world. Let's manifest all that away, and then Jamie, yeah. Come with Ethany's coming. So yeah, we've been trying to work on that forever.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting. We won't say why, but I'm going to show you the card. So all the number 3s got the 6 of Wands. Yeah. So the 6 of Wands, and so what I'm getting at for all the number 3s this week is to sit proudly, and I don't think to be proud of something is the same as pride, and to sit proudly and feel that you can own the things that you are proud of, the things you've accomplished. If the best you could do this week was get out of bed and put on your hair and your makeup, because we have a lot of people that are struggling with depression right now, and if that's the best you could do, be proud of that. If you created a deck this week and finished a painting, then be proud of that and own it, and know that you have people supporting you in that. if the best you can do is literally make it to work and get on Zoom and do your work and then just roll back in bed. You've got people who are supporting you. So that's what I'm going to say for the threes. Just wherever you're at, be okay with that and be proud of it and own it. And I feel like it's really important for this card specifically is for those that are struggling right now. I just really want to speak to those people because there's a lot of people struggling with anxiety and depression. And so be proud of every little thing you're doing, those milestones. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So, Jamie, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for reading. And yes, and I'm going to let you guys know before I go into the outro that I want you to know that all the places you can find Jamie. On Instagram is a good place to keep up with her at Jamie Sawyer, and it's is that underline? 336 underscore, sorry, 336. She has a Facebook page, www.facebook.com, Sawyer's Path, or her Etsy page is where you're going to find those great tiles and everything. Etsy conversation/messaging. Is that right? Or www.etsy.com/Jamie Sawyer 336. We will have that where y'all can see it.
Yep.
And thank you guys all for listening tonight. You can check us out on all the podcast platforms. Give us a like or a subscribe or all those good things. And all the places that you know us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Michelle SoulTopia. And thanks so much for joining us tonight, Jamie, and all you guys, where we talk about things of the soul and you get to decide what matters to your soul. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night, guys.